If your roses looked a little tired this year, fewer blooms, weaker stems, more disease than usual, I need you to hear this before you touch your pruning shears again. There's a good chance the problem isn't your soil, it isn't the weather, and it isn't bad luck. It's timing. Right now, in late summer and early fall, thousands of well-meaning gardeners are about to make a mistake that quietly kills next year's blooms. They grab their shears, cut their roses back hard, thinking they're tidying up for winter. And by spring, they're standing in the garden wondering why half their bush didn't come back. If that sounds even a little familiar, stay with me, because what you do to your roses in the next few weeks decides whether you get a garden full of blooms next summer or a handful of sad, spindly canes. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what to do, and just as important, what not to do, to your roses before the first frost hits. We're covering 5 simple things that take almost no extra effort, but make the difference between a rose bush that thrives all winter and one that struggles to survive it. This isn't about working harder in the garden. It's about working smarter at the right time, so your roses do most of the work themselves. No fancy tools, no complicated techniques, no expensive products. Just 5 small shifts in habit that protect the plant you already have. Here's the thing nobody tells beginner gardeners. Most rose problems don't actually start in spring. They start in fall, weeks before anyone even notices anything is wrong. And it makes sense that this catches people off guard, because everything about fall says, wrap things up. The days get shorter, the garden looks messy, and it feels natural to want to cut everything back and tidy the yard before winter. But roses don't work like that. They're getting ready for a very different kind of season, and if you treat them like you're closing up shop, you're actually working against them. That's what we're here for at Stress-Free Garden Living, helping you understand the why behind these small habits, so gardening finally feels simple instead of overwhelming. And stick around for the last tip, because it's the one most people skip completely, and it's often the single biggest reason grafted roses die over winter. If you've ever lost a rose bush and had no idea why, this one might just explain it. Let's start with the biggest one, because it's the mistake almost everyone makes without realizing it. You look at your rose bush, it looks overgrown and messy, and your instinct says, cut it back hard, get it ready for winter. It feels productive. It feels like you're helping. But here's why that backfires. When you prune roses hard in fall, you're not just removing old growth. You're triggering the plant to respond. Roses read a hard cut as a signal to grow. So instead of settling down for winter, the plant pushes out fresh, tender new shoots. And that new growth is soft. It hasn't had time to toughen up. The very first hard frost that comes through will kill that new growth instantly, and all the energy the plant spent producing it, gone. Wasted. Right when the plant needed to be storing energy for winter, not spending it. Picture 2 rose bushes side by side. One was hard pruned in October. The other was left mostly alone, just lightly tidied. Come spring, the untouched bush wakes up strong, with healthy buds ready to burst into bloom. The hard pruned bush is patchy, weak, and some canes may be dead entirely. So what should you actually do? Light fall tidying only. That means removing anything that's clearly dead, damaged, or diseased, and maybe trimming back any extra long canes that could catch wind and rock the roots loose. That's it. Save the real shaping, the hard, structural pruning, for late winter or very early spring, right before new growth begins. That's when cutting encourages strong, well-timed growth instead of doomed growth. Now let's talk about something small that makes a surprisingly big difference: how you remove spent blooms. Most people just snip off dead flowers wherever looks convenient. But roses respond to exactly where you cut. If you deadhead correctly, you're telling the plant to redirect its energy downward into strengthening roots and canes, instead of upward into forcing more blooms so late in the season that they'll never get to properly open anyway. Here's the simple technique. Look for a leaf along the stem that has 5 leaflets, not 3. Cut just above that 5-leaflet leaf at a slight outward angle. That's it. This spot is where the plant naturally wants to grow a strong new stem, and cutting there tells the rose, focus your energy here and make it sturdy. Picture your rose bush after this small change. Instead of weak, wobbly stems trying to squeeze out one more late bloom, you get thicker, healthier canes that are ready to support next year's flowers. It's a tiny adjustment, but it completely changes where the plant's energy goes. Now, Here's where most gardening advice online gets it completely backwards, and it has to do with fertilizer. If you're still feeding your roses the same way you did in June, you might be doing more harm than good right now. Let's fix that. Nitrogen is fantastic in spring and summer. It's the nutrient that fuels big, leafy, vigorous growth and lots of blooms. But that same strength becomes a problem in fall. Nitrogen pushes soft, fast growth. And just like hard pruning, that soft new growth won't have time to harden before frost hits. So if you keep feeding your roses a nitrogen-heavy fertilizer into September and October, you're essentially encouraging the plant to keep producing tender growth right when it should be slowing down and toughening up for winter. The fix is simple. Stop nitrogen feeding roughly 6 to 8 weeks before your area's first expected frost. After that point, if you want to feed at all, switch to something potassium-rich instead. Potassium does the opposite of nitrogen. It strengthens cell walls and toughens up the canes the plant already has, helping it handle cold weather instead of chasing new growth it can't protect. Imagine your rose bush going into winter with firm, hardened canes instead of soft green shoots. That's a plant that's ready for frost, instead of one that's caught off guard by it. This next one feels almost too simple to matter, but it might be the most overlooked step of all: cleaning up fallen leaves and debris around the base of your roses. Here's why it matters so much. Diseases like black spot and powdery mildew, the ones that leave ugly spots and dusty coatings on rose leaves, don't just disappear when the leaves fall off in autumn. The fungal spores survive right there in the fallen leaf litter, patiently waiting through winter. Then, come spring, rain splashes those spores right back up onto the new growth, and the exact same disease problem starts all over again. This is actually one of the most common mistakes I see, even among people who've been gardening for years. They rake leaves off the lawn, but leave them sitting right under the rose bush, thinking it's fine because it's just mulch. It's not the same thing. Diseased leaves are completely different from clean mulch, and leaving them there is like inviting the same problem back next year, guaranteed. The fix takes maybe 5 minutes per bush. Rake up and remove all fallen leaves and plant debris from around the base of each rose. Don't compost diseased leaves either, unless your compost gets hot enough to kill fungal spores. When in doubt, bag them and toss them. Once the area is clean, you can add a fresh layer of clean mulch on top, which actually helps protect the roots for winter. Picture spring arriving with clean, healthy new leaves instead of the same spotted, mildew-covered ones you dealt with every year before. That's the payoff for 5 minutes of cleanup now. And now, the one most people never even think about: protecting the graft union. If you have a grafted rose, which most rose bushes sold at nurseries actually are, there's a slightly swollen bump near the base of the plant, right where the stem meets the roots. That's the graft union, and it is, without exaggeration, the most vulnerable part of the entire plant. If that spot freezes hard, especially in colder climates, the whole rose can die, even if the roots below survive. Here's why this one step matters so much. The graft union hasn't fully toughened up the way older canes have, and it's sitting right at ground level, exactly where cold settles and lingers. Losing protection here is one of the single biggest reasons grafted roses don't make it through winter, and most gardeners never even realize that's what happened. They just think the plant died of old age or bad luck. The fix is simple. Before the first hard freeze hits, mound mulch, compost, or loose soil over the graft union, building it up about 3 to 4 inches high. Think of it like tucking that one vulnerable spot in for winter while the rest of the plant handles the cold on its own. In spring, once the danger of hard frost has passed, you simply pull that mound back down. So let's bring this all together. None of these 5 things are complicated. You're not spending hours in the garden or buying expensive products. You're lightly tidying instead of hard pruning, deadheading in the right spot, cutting off nitrogen at the right time, clearing away fallen leaves, and mounting a little protection over one vulnerable spot. That's it. But together, these small, well-timed habits are the difference between a rose bush that limps into spring and one that explodes with healthy blooms. This is exactly what stress-free gardening looks like. Not more effort, just smarter timing. You're not fighting your roses. You're working with how they naturally protect themselves and letting that do the heavy lifting for you. If this video helped you see your rose care a little differently, do me a favor and hit subscribe. Stress-free garden living is all about giving you simple, low-effort tips like this one so your garden thrives without taking over your life. Every video is built around one idea: grow more, with less effort, less stress, and less guesswork. Before you go, I'd love to know, which of these 5 tips are you trying first this fall? And be honest, were you already making mistake number 1 without realizing it? Drop a comment and let me know. And if you know someone whose roses struggle every single winter, send this video their way. It might just save their favorite bush. I'll see you in the next one.